How is Asia or emerging markets benefiting from AI capex? And what are the flow trends in emerging markets telling us?
Sure. So that's a very interesting question, Sonal. And I think, many people talk about this key. You don't know who is the company who will actually benefit from AI. Will it be the company which creates the LLM and the models that will help you? Will it be the companies who will actually use that AI to create productivity? This is always a very ephemeral question. But, there is an old story that when the people in the US, if you remember, there was what was known as the Great Gold Rush in the US, happened almost 200 years ago, when people went from the East Coast to the West Coast in search of gold. And at that point of time, people always joke that doesn't matter whether you find gold or not, but the person who sells the picks and the shovels and the crowbars that people need to do mining, they are the ones who will make the money. And this is literally what you are seeing happening in this slide over here, because initially the discussions used to all be about the Mag 7. These are the companies who are using NVIDIA chips, they are doing the LLM, they are doing a lot of that exciting work where the IPR happens. But to do that work, they need chips, right? They need the simple chips, the hardware that is required to support this computing operation. And this chart is very interesting because look at this: Samsung Electronics Korea, SK Hynix Korea, TSMC Taiwan. These companies' profits are now exceeding that of companies like Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon. So this is a remarkable chart. Just look at that growth which is happening in the profits of a company like Samsung because of the demand for DRAM chips, and they are, of course, the leading manufacturer worldwide. It is on course to perhaps be the world's most profitable company next year, and it is this dramatic takeoff in profits which is actually now causing Asian tech hardware company profits to surge. These are the companies with picks and shovels. They are selling the wheelbarrows, the picks and shovels. They are not selling the high tech product. These are the commodity products that the IPR businesses need, and they have become the most profitable companies in the world. Now, as a result of this, of course, Asia and Asia Tech has been among the best performing countries and markets in the world. You will be able to see that on the next slide. So, if we go to the next slide at this point of time, this just shows you here we have first of all plotted the performance of the EMs relative to the DMs starting from October 2025, and you can see how there is a dramatic improvement in the performance of the EMs vis-a-vis the DMs starting from early calendar 2025. Now, why is this happening? The big outperformance in the EMs is coming from markets like Korea and Taiwan. Of course, there are many other EMs outperforming as well, but particularly I would call out Korea and Taiwan because these are the companies where TSMC, SK Hynix, and TSMC are based, and they are the companies and the countries who have had the best performing stocks in recent times. Korea up more than 100 odd percent, same for Taiwan. Now, many people, very interestingly, talk about the fact that why should foreigners invest in India when they have such exciting hardware driven AI plays in other parts of the world, markets like Korea and markets like Taiwan. Now, this is very funny, but if you look at the data on the right hand side, the data on the right hand side tells you that despite having such companies, which I showed you on the previous slide, even Korea and Taiwan are currently experiencing outflows from their equity markets by foreigners. So, this line that you see here is the performance of the Korean stock exchange. You can see it has gone ballistic in this period. This is the net outflow from foreigners in Korea. And in the last 1 year, it has actually gone even more negative, which means Korea is outperforming despite the fact that foreigners are pulling out money. It is not that because of the AI story, foreign money is going into Korea and that's why it is outperforming. Korea is doing well for the same reason that Indian markets have been doing relatively well, which is that domestic investors are pumping money into that market. Foreigners have actually withdrawn money from Korea. Foreigners have actually withdrawn money from Taiwan, despite the fact that Taiwan is actually a rocket like market driven by, of course, TSMC. So, this is a very interesting dichotomy. Are EMs outperforming DMs? Answer is yes. What is it driven by? It is driven by particularly tech hardware, but even those markets are currently not seeing inflows from foreigners. In fact, foreigners are pulling out money from that markets. So every time you feel jealous about Korea and Taiwan, oh my God, foreigners are buying those markets. They are not buying our market. They are not buying our market because we have no AI. Please remember, those markets have AI, and even then, foreigners are pulling out money. Ask somebody to explain that to you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.